Thank you for watching. Let's continue. What if a single farm could feed an entire nation? Or an operation so vast you would need a helicopter just to survey its fences? This is not science fiction. There are farms in existence so large they are bigger than entire countries. These are places where one company produces enough food to sustain 200 million people and where workers can travel 80 miles in a day without ever leaving the property. So, how do they function? Who runs them? And just how big can a farm truly get? Prepare to zoom out. Way out. We are about to explore the 10 largest farms in the world, and their scale will absolutely redefine what you thought was possible. Prepare to witness the 10 largest farms on the planet, operations of a scale that will defy your imagination. Our journey begins in the northeastern plains of China, home to what may be the most massive agricultural operation on Earth. Stretching across a staggering 22,500,000 acres, the Mundang Jiang City Megafarm is widely considered the largest farm in the world. To comprehend its scale, imagine fitting the entire nation of Ireland within its boundaries and still having room left over. This colossal agricultural operation was forged by merging dozens of individual state-run farms in Heilongjiang Province, transforming the region into a powerhouse of modern agribusiness. Specializing in dairy production, the farm supports over 100,000 dairy cows, supplying milk to a significant portion of China's population. But this is not just about scale, it is about systems. The farm runs like a self-contained ecosystem where massive feed mills, custom-designed milking parlors, and GPS-tracked logistics routes move with assembly line precision. Entire herds are managed using digital records, automated feeding stations, and real-time health monitoring. It was built with a mission to reduce China's dependence on foreign dairy imports and boost food security. And while it accomplishes that, it has not come without questions. Critics point to the strain on local water supplies, the environmental toll of industrial-scale farming, and concerns over animal welfare. Still, there is no denying the sheer magnitude of the operation. It is more than a farm, it is an agricultural city. Our journey now takes us from China's dairy empire to the sun-scorched heart of the Australian outback, where cattle roam across distances that stretch beyond the imagination. Deep within South Australia lies a station so vast, its scale is almost incomprehensible. Anna Creek Station spans more than 6 million acres, making it the largest cattle station on the planet. If it were a city, it would be 4 times the size of Greater London. Established in the year 1863, it originally operated as a sheep station, before cattle proved more resilient in the arid, unforgiving landscape. Despite its immense size, Anna Creek is not densely populated with livestock. The desert-like environment sustains only a few cattle per square kilometer, meaning the animals roam over enormous distances. Surviving here demands a radical approach to ranching, one where old-school grit converges with new-school technology. Helicopters buzz overhead to locate herds, drones scan the ground below, GPS collars track movements, and off-road vehicles raise red dust as workers chase water supply issues or monitor fences. The logistics are staggering. Ranch hands can ride for hours, sometimes for entire days, just to inspect a single trough. And with so few natural water sources, every decision counts. If one water system fails, animals could be stranded with no shade, no grass, and no hydration for miles. Where Australian plains bake under a relentless sun, our next agricultural giant thrives amid the bitter cold of Russian winters. Sprawling across more than 2.5 million acres, Rusagro is not just one of Russia's largest agricultural companies, it is one of the largest farming operations on the planet. That is an area equivalent to roughly 3,900 square miles, enough land to contain the entire city of Tokyo 27 times over. Headquartered in Moscow, its operations stretch across vast swaths of Russia's fertile Black Earth region and into the frosty fields of Siberia, handling everything from grain production to pork processing on an immense industrial scale. Yet what makes Rusagro unique is not just its acreage, but how deeply the company is vertically integrated. Rusagro owns the fields, the processing plants, the logistics chains, and even the retail distribution networks. This allows it to grow, refine, package, and sell everything in-house, from wheat to sugar to sunflower oil. Its livestock divisions are just as massive, housing hundreds of thousands of pigs and cattle in state-of-the-art facilities built to operate year-round in sub-zero conditions. The scale is staggering. Rusagro's fields stretch so far, farmers use satellite mapping and AI-guided tractors to navigate them efficiently. Crops are harvested by fleets of machines that rarely stop moving, rotating around the clock during peak season. Operating in one of the world's most variable climates, the company has invested heavily in cold-resistant crop strains, soil science, and automation. What began as a cluster of Soviet-era collectives has grown into a farming empire, feeding both domestic and international markets. We return to the sunburned continent, where Australia demonstrates once again that for cattle stations, it operates in a league of its own. Located in the remote heart of South Australia, Clifton Hill Station is the nation's second-largest cattle property, spanning a staggering 4.2 million acres. That is roughly 6,500 square miles, an expanse so vast you could drive for 8 hours straight at highway speeds and still not cross it. Founded in 1876, it has been operating for nearly 150 years in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. As far as the eye can see, there are no fences. Cattle roam freely across desert plains, saltbush country, and rocky floodplains. Managing them requires helicopters, GPS trackers, and motorbikes. And even with this technology, it remains a constant challenge. Rainfall is sparse, and the landscape shifts from drought to flood with little warning. Survival here hinges on water infrastructure, with miles of pipelines and solar-powered pumps keeping troughs filled. Clifton Hills is still family-owned, and despite its immense scale, it employs a tight-knit crew of stockmen who live on the property for weeks or months at a time. This is not just a ranch, it is a world. From the sprawling world of cattle ranches, where animals traverse millions of acres, we shift to a farm where scale is measured not by land, but by its innovation and impact. Located across several states including Illinois, Nebraska, and Arizona, the operations of Howard G. Buffett, the son of billionaire Warren Buffett, encompass over 1,500 acres of experimental fields and tens of thousands more in active production. But this is not a typical megafarm focused only on yields. A philanthropist and farmer, Buffett uses his land to push the very boundaries of sustainable agriculture, water conservation, and no-till farming techniques. The heart of his work is in Decatur, Illinois, where the Howard G. Buffett Foundation Research Farm tests regenerative practices, drought-resilient crops, and soil health strategies intended for global application. Using controlled plots, long-term trials, and real-time climate data, the farm explores how to grow food in Earth's most depleted and climate-stressed regions. The goal is to create sustainable farming models that can feed a growing planet without stripping it bare. His methods are now being adopted in parts of Africa, Central America, and even war-torn regions where food security is a matter of life or death. While much smaller than the ranches of Australia, this farm is globally influential, showing that size is not always measured in acres, but in the size of its vision. Its true value is measured in impact. From America's heartland, our journey leads to a place where farming seems almost impossible, yet thrives against all odds. In the middle of the desert, Where temperatures soar past 110 degrees Fahrenheit and rainfall is rare, Aldara Farms defies the landscape itself. Spread across several desert regions in the UAE and extending into Egypt and Serbia, Aldara controls over 400,000 acres worldwide. Visualize a patchwork of green unfurled across a field large enough to cover all 5 boroughs of New York City 3 times. It specializes in hay, alfalfa, rice, and other animal feeds, crops critical to supporting the UAE's livestock industry and its food security strategy. To make agriculture possible in one of the harshest climates on Earth, Aldara relies on cutting-edge drip irrigation systems, desalinated water, and climate-controlled greenhouses. Massive water pipelines run underground, feeding circular pivot fields that bloom green in the middle of barren sandscapes. Solar power helps offset extreme energy demands, and precision agriculture tools monitor everything from soil pH to evaporation rates. The company has also invested in overseas farmland, including in California's Central Valley, to ensure consistent production year-round. This is a global operation with desert roots, functioning more like an agricultural command center than a traditional farm. What makes Aldara stand out is not just its scale, it is its ambition. The farm supplies feed to countries as far away as China, Saudi Arabia, and Japan, establishing it as one of the world's biggest suppliers. From desert innovation, our journey now pivots to continental dominance, crossing the equator to an agricultural operation that transcends national borders. Spanning Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, and Bolivia, El Tejar is not simply a farm, it is a continental force. At its peak, this agribusiness commanded over 2 million acres of farmland, a territory so vast you could fit approximately 1.5 million football fields within its boundaries. Its primary focus remains soybeans, corn, and wheat, staples in global markets and crucial exports for South America. What makes El Tejar especially distinctive is its asset-light model. Rather than owning all the land it cultivates, the company leases enormous swaths of fertile soil, focusing its capital on high-efficiency crop management. This strategy allows them to move quickly, scaling up or down based on global prices and reducing financial risk in volatile markets. They deploy satellite imagery, GPS-guided tractors, and weather-based planting models to maximize yield with scientific precision. During harvest season, the pace is relentless. Equipment runs 24/7, and logistics hubs coordinate grain transport by truck, rail, and ship in real time. Their digital control centers monitor data from fields across multiple countries, giving the operation an almost military level of coordination. Though it has reduced its footprint in recent years, El Tejar remains a major player and a textbook case of how technology and logistics can shape the future of farming. We now return to the United States, where tradition meets technology on an epic scale. Nestled in the plains of southern Texas, Ivy Ranch is one of the largest family-owned ranches in the nation, covering around 500,000 acres, an area roughly the size of Rhode Island. Unlike more corporate operations, Ivy Ranch remains deeply rooted in tradition, balancing old-school ranching wisdom with modern tech. While the land is used primarily for cow-calf operations, the ranch also manages wildlife conservation, soil restoration, and water management projects. In recent years, Ivy Ranch has been recognized for its efforts in sustainable grazing, working with ecologists to rotate herds and regenerate native grasses. Some areas are even set aside as native wildlife corridors, allowing deer, birds, and pollinators to thrive alongside the cattle. Despite its massive size, the ranch is managed by a surprisingly small team that possesses an intimate knowledge of the terrain. Here, generations of cowboys have passed down skills like branding, roping, and horsemanship. Only now they are paired with satellite tags, digital mapping, and mobile herd monitoring. Helicopters and drones help track the herds, while windmills and solar systems keep the water tanks flowing. It is big, it is bold, and it is very different from what we have seen in other parts of the world. From the scale of a single family's empire, we now zoom out to a corporation that views the entire planet as its growing field. Unlike the other entries on our list, Olam International is not a single farm at all. It is a multinational powerhouse, operating hundreds of farms across continents. Headquartered in Singapore, Olam's reach extends to more than 60 countries, managing a staggering 3.8 million acres of agricultural land. If laid end to end, these farms would stretch from New York to Los Angeles and back again. Its operations span from peanut fields in Argentina to coffee estates in Tanzania, almond orchards in Australia, and rice paddies in Nigeria. Few companies in history have ever built such a geographically diverse farming empire. What makes Olam truly fascinating is how precisely tailored each operation is. In the United States, it focuses on high-value crops like almonds, onions, and cotton. In West Africa, it is one of the largest cashew and cocoa processors. In Southeast Asia, it is invested in palm oil and rubber. Instead of a one-size-fits-all model, Olam builds region-specific strategies that blend local partnerships, supply chain management, and sustainable certifications. The company also champions traceability. Using blockchain and satellite data, Olam can track a cocoa bean from a West African village to a chocolate bar in New York. And they are not just farming, they are reforesting, restoring soil, and creating carbon offsets in vulnerable ecosystems. Our journey now comes full circle, returning to China, where this agricultural epic began. Born from the nation's Cold War ambition for self-sufficiency, the Beta Huang Group now commands over 5.3 million acres of farmland, placing it among the largest farming conglomerates on Earth. Its epicenter is the fertile plains of Heilongjiang Province in northeast China. The name Beta Huang translates to Great Northern Wilderness, a haunting reminder of the swampy, untamed region it conquered. Today, this land is the breadbasket of modern China. Beta Huang cultivates rice, soybeans, corn, and wheat, but its reach extends far beyond the fields. The company operates its own seed development labs, irrigation technology hubs, and food processing plants, forging a completely integrated ecosystem from soil to supermarket. Its fields are so vast that farmers deploy drones, AI-driven soil sensors, and satellite imagery to oversee everything from planting schedules to pest control. Some of their tractors are entirely autonomous, guided by real-time data streams and geomapped routes. The conglomerate is also pioneering climate-resilient crop strains and regenerative soil techniques, safeguarding yields against rising weather extremes. In recent years, Beta Huang has expanded beyond its borders, leasing land in Argentina, Russia, and Southeast Asia to secure future food supplies and diversify risk. This is agriculture with geopolitical ambition, reshaping global food trade in real time, acre by acre. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There are many more remarkable stories ahead. Stretching from continent to continent, across sun-scorched deserts and onto frozen Siberian plains, these operations are not simply massive. They are fundamentally redefining what agriculture looks like in the modern age. Some are vast enough to feed entire nations, while others physically reshape the landscape itself. And yet, they all raise one profound, lingering question. When it comes to growing the world's food, how big is truly too big? If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There are many more remarkable stories ahead.